right, Lisa who?
From the west side of Chicago, it's time for the Gregory Struss Show. I'm Scotty Joe Vegas, inviting you to stay tuned for the next 30 minutes as we discuss random topics and taboo topics. And now here's a man who has a creeper van and is staying in his shorts, Mr. Gregory Struss.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Scotty Joe Vegas, and welcome back to the Greg Struss Show. Originating here from Studio One.
All right.
I love it. The west side of Chicago. And it has been windy out. Do you realize it's been blowing more propaganda than Fox News? But I got to tell you, no, it's CNN really.
I was more partial to McDonald's over Wendy's, but okay.
Of course.
I ate her last night.
At Wendy's?
Yes.
Okay.
Good old Joliet.
So anyway, you're never going to see any protests on this show.
You'll see a lot of double chins.
Okay.
That's for damn sure.
You'll never see protests or hear protests on those show. We save it for in-between segments. Thank you. I thought you might enjoy that. So Scotty Joe Vegas returned from another trip, and you appear to be leaving again. What's up with that?
I was down in Miami Beach, and I wrote a story about Miami Beach.
I understand.
Thank you.
You know, people are just losing their minds.
I am.
If you watch TV, as I do every day, it's like I have never heard so much hate. The level of vitriol, okay? The level of...
You see it on the newscast in the morning when they say, oh, Donald Trump's going to have some problems, and they smile after it.
Yeah.
And I want to tell that lady, that redhead on CBS, go to hell!
Nora O'Donnell, she's great. But you were right. As I'm watching all of this stuff, CBS, NBC, ABC, with the Greek, George Stadopoulos.
Yep.
Yeah, they're pretty in the tank. Now, is it just this election that I
have never seen behavior like that
this,
before.
or
Never.
has it always been like this?
It has not always been like that. Journalism, they didn't get their ass involved or their head involved. Oh, hello. I'm back now.
What people have to realize is that 62 million people plus voted for President Trump. 65 million people voted for Hillary Clinton. All right, that's a big number. So even though Hillary Clinton may have won the popular vote.
Wouldn't that be 67 that Hillary voted for and 62 or?
No,
So I think it's been
65, I
backwards.
think it was 65 for Hillary and 62 and
Oh,
some change
I thought you
for...
said 67, I'm
No,
sorry.
62 and some change for Donald Trump.
Okay.
All right, but what people are missing is that
He won where he had to win.
he won where he had to win, and the fact is 62 million people still voted and had a voice.
The little voice is heard in an instant on a newscast, and it's not the majority. Majority rules, little stories, little people. Oh, Fernando, he got picked up, and he wasn't supposed to be there, and what a shame. I'm sorry that happened, but the majority of the people in this country, if you have 4 people in a room, says, I want pizza, I want pizza, I want pizza, we're having pizza.
Right.
I said that on the show before.
So I guess in all of this, the lesson to learn is that, and I think this is part of civics, isn't it? It's like, okay, you do your civic duty as an American citizen. And I think that's what we have to start focusing on, that we're Americans, okay? And even people who are visiting or have decided to come here, whether it is legal or illegal, they also participate in America, okay? And I don't think that we have to single those folks out. We have to help them become American citizens, if that's the case, all right? What are the benefits of that? The benefits of people from other countries becoming American citizens is that they'll gain the right to vote, all right? They'll also pay into income taxes.
And they'll also be made fun of because they're lower on the food chain.
And more so, be welcomed,
Exactly.
all right, as American citizens. And I think we need to get away from the race, the religion, and all of these things and realize that we're part of a bigger thing.
Let me
It's
tell you what
called
my
being
preacher said.
America,
He says,
right?
"Oh,
We're
you
not
got
part of
church,
America.
you got church and state. Well, you got to break away from the white. You got to break away from the black. You got to break away because we got no more color in this country. Because we got to let it go. We got to let it go if we're going to be a solid nation to walk down the street, kick some ass." If the aliens came today, we'd be hand in hand kicking some raw God bless it, alien Buddha.
Okay, so is that something you learned from Joel Osteen? We were just cracking funny before the show. We were talking about Joel Osteen and Scott got offended. I love that. But what he said right now, even though you're in character, has a lot of truth.
It is.
And it doesn't know race, it doesn't know religion. Being an American is being an American.
So we have to separate from church and state like we have.
Right.
We got to set no color. Okay, now what? No
Well,
gender.
you don't understand what it's like to be black, or you
No
don't
gender.
understand what it's like to be gay, or you don't understand what it's like to be a lesbian, or you don't understand what it's like to be a woman.
I do know what it's like to be a lesbian.
Do you understand what it's like to be an American? That's the question. All right. On that note, we have taboo, I'm looking, we have taboo topics, lots of taboo topics. And what else?
Alien kicking ass.
Yeah, of course, okay? So for the next however long we're on here, think of this as America 101. All right, Greg Struss Show, America 101.
Is our mic on?
I think so.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm Greg. This is The Struss Show. And once again, we're reinventing community television here from the west side of Chicago. Thank you for joining us. And we'll be back in just a moment.
Arrivederci.
Feed one apple before your meals. You don't eat as much. It's rich on fibers. So we having a lot of people have like amazing results on that. So
if I eat an apple, I look like you.
You might have to do a little bit of exercise.
Couple
We're not
apples.
talking with the paintbrush either. Okay. This is fun.
trust me.
She's gonna kick my ass after the show.
Welcome back to the Greg Struss Show. I'm Greg Struss along with Scotty Joe Vegas, coming to you from Studio One here out in the west side of Chicago. And it has been windy out, it has been cold out at times, it's been nice out, and kind of temperate, right?
Sounds like a married man's piece of ass.
Is that what you call it? Really?
His cooch.
Okay.
His stabbing companion.
So this is our first show, back with a clean face, and I've had mixed feedback on it. You look so young.
You look so young.
You look like you have taken off 10 years of your life. Like you look like you're younger than you did before, with a beard.
You know, it's always nice to hang around with enablers. And where were we at again?
Of course. So keep in mind, you can always watch the Greg Struss Show with Scotty Joe Vegas.
Yep.
Every Wednesday night here on Xfinity Comcast in the west side of Chicago, as well as on, what do we say, Google?
Google.
And even though most of the shows are on YouTube, we also have a few that are on some other websites as well. And
Don't waste your
hopefully gonna
time.
Get up, yeah, of
They'll
course.
be on the Google site.
They'll be on the Google site if you Google it.
Google.
So, we were talking during the monologue about all the craziness that's going on in the world today.
Yes.
We have stories of Russian hacking. We have stories of, things going on that aren't, people that have, in the Trump administration that were talking to Russia.
So the people that are anti-Russia,
Which is
the
who?
big business, right now, because Russia comes in, they help us with trade, and right now those people don't want to give it up because they're making all the money.
So that's what you think it is?
Yes.
All right. Or is it more of an old-fashioned thing that, well, we've always been against Russia, so we're going to keep it up? Now, I don't personally, I kind of agree with the president when he says, having good relations with Russia can be a good thing, can it not?
The Russians were.
Now, before anybody says, well, you're a communist or you're this or you're that, I'm talking about from a point of view that if we have open dialogue rather than
Russia has been fighting ISIS just as long as us. Done story. Thank you.
okay.
I'm Lynn O'Connor.
I'm Lynn O'Connor from WGN News, and this is
Did
my
I cut you off?
opinion.
I didn't mean to cut you off. How's your love life doing?
I guess my
I
point.
hear you're getting some strange. Is this true?
I guess my point. We'll get to that. In a
Okay,
minute.
sorry.
I guess my point is this: is that it's kind of like going home for Christmas. If I haven't gotten along with mom and dad in quite some time,
And you call
I
your
haven't
old girlfriend and
I
she
call
still
you
stinks.
know, and
Yeah, I
whoever it
understand.
is that I'm involved in, da 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 da, and you go back. Is it not better to have some relations versus no relations? Or in some cases, maybe it's better off not to have any relations with certain individuals.
You
I
get
don't know.
more cakes made with sugar. I had a point to make, but I have heartburn. I'm all right. Let's talk about Miami Beach.
All right, you asked me about my love life.
How is your love life?
Let's talk about Miami Beach.
Okay. Folks, if you ever want to go down to Miami Beach, I suggest you stay home because of there's no Walmart down there, and they got a couple Subways, and they got people who talk like this. They're like blah 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 blah. Then you got the next people that talk like this. Then you got this other guy going. All I wanted was to go to Walgreens and get some tampons.
Did you have anyone that said, well, yeah?
No, actually, I don't think Miami lets retarded people in.
Mentally challenged?
Oh,
Well, okay,
hell.
so here's another thing that came out of political correctness. We can no longer say the word retarded. It's a mental deficiency. Okay? Well, then, why did my father work for Lake County Association for the Retarded? It wouldn't exist today because, well, that's judging people. Well, retardation used to be,
Wait a minute. Your dad worked for
he was,
I want to make sure I heard this right.
yes, my father actually
Was he
had a job.
abusive?
No.
Was he abusive to you and
He
the
loved
retarded?
no, he was not, he was not
Did you hear
retarded.
that? Oh, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
There's nothing wrong with describing, and
Did he take like brooms and like right over the
no,
back?
but he would ask, are you retarded? And I'm like, well, you work with those special needs people. What do you think?
I love special needs people.
So,
Like me, I'm a special needs person because I need it a certain way.
so it's not handicapped, it's handy capable. All right? So now we have to be real careful on what we say about everything and everybody. And I think
What about a
that's-
transgender, retarded lesbian with Caitlyn Jenner coochness?
I don't know, but the whole that's a whole separate. I got to dig up some. Maybe on a Greg Show Classic, we're going to take a look at some of the transsexuals we had as guests.
Oh,
in
okay.
Seattle.
All
All right,
right.
because I think that
So you were years ahead of the
we
curve.
were years ahead of the curve, as they say. But where were we going?
I was
we were
not
talking
sleeping.
about
Oh, Miami Beach.
no, but we
no.
were talking about something else.
Retardation.
Okay, but I
Your
don't know
love
how we
life.
started talking
Your
about
love
that.
life.
No, we were talking about Miami Beach. Go
Miami
ahead.
Beach. So, all I can say is about Miami Beach is that's a whole different country down there, boy. I'll tell you what. Stick on the Fort Myers side. There's some fat cooch, more meatier women on that side, and there's a lot of women on that other side. And I was so happy to be with my Miffy, and she took me down there. She flew me down.
Okay, this
and-
is like family photos.
Oh, I'm sorry.
When we talk. Now, Miffy is your significant other.
Yes,
And you went on a trip, and you're
Yes.
going on another trip.
yes, but Miffy's staying home.
She's staying home. So where are you going to
I'm
on this
going to
one?
go with my daughter. We're going to Los Angeles. We're going to go to Hollywood. We're going to go to the Walk of Fame. We're going to go see Yossi, hopefully from Beverly Hills Pond, and we're going to go see maybe Stan Ridgway from Big Wall of Voodoo, because he wouldn't seen the psychic at one time. But if he blows me off, he blows me off. It's the way it is.
Okay. I don't know where we were going with this whole thing. I'm lost. Because
probably-
we started out talking about Russia, then you interrupted me, and I lost my train of thought.
Well, let me just say this: big business, where the squeaking rats are, is because big business is behind it, and that's it. Oh, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Okay, but here was going to be the point that I make about Walmart. You know what would be kind of interesting is if the Trump administration said to Walmart, in order to keep your, in order to reduce your taxes or whatever, start having your products made in America. Put Americans back to work with products instead of Bangladesh.
I think that we should have
What do you think of
Costco
that?
versus Walmart death matches on TV and be like, yeah, it's the red team. Did I lose you? I came away.
I wish we could stay on point because you're confusing the living.
I'm
you know
under the
what out of me.
weather. My panties are moist.
You ever notice when I get ready to make a serious point, I get like anchored in the chair?
Yeah, I did notice
Yeah,
that.
did you
Is
notice that? I was backing up into it.
You like my coat?
I love it.
This is my Mr. Bojangles coat.
All right, so as we were talking in the monologue about America First and America 101, one of the things about being an American is being responsible, all right?
Correct.
Being law-abiding,
Yep.
all right? And patriotism.
But where
having
people
respect
are-
for the flag, having respect for the Constitution,
Well,
having respect for
Where
work.
people are turning it around now. It's like, I don't have to do that because that's my choice. Well, I think it's in the Bible somewhere where I think they come in and they go,
At what point did ghetto become so in vogue? To be ghetto, to be like wearing your, ghetto talk. Now, ghetto talk can be anything, right? Ghetto talk is,
remember where the first ghetto was?
all right, will you help me stay on
Warsaw,
point?
Poland. Remember that? All the people died over 3 million of them son of a bitches died.
All right. What is what the point I'm
sorry,
making
what?
about ghetto? Ghetto is not a class of people. Ghetto is
A lifestyle.
a lifestyle. Talking about all the B's and H's,
Yep.
B's and hoes,
Yep.
okay? When did we lose? And I really think that what
An
we
entitlement is what you're saying. Do you feel that there's an entitlement amongst the culture? Do you?
young people,
Yes.
right?
White, black, or whatever.
And I would venture to say that a lot of it is the fault of people that are in our age bracket. Because we always heard I don't know about you, but I always heard the word no. No, you can't do that.
Man, I don't ever hear the word no more.
But did you used to hear it as a kid?
Oh, man, all the time.
Because there were a thing called limitations. There was a thing called having limitations.
Yep.
You don't have to have the brand new phone and
Nope.
beat everybody by it. But now it's like, I think it's more of an insecurity with people in our age bracket that because we weren't able to have things,
We want to be your friend.
we want to be your friend.
We want to say, it's okay that you wrecked your third iPhone.
I had a nephew.
I will just say this. This is what would happen to me with one iPhone. Boom, right in the face!
I have a nephew that lost or had 9 BlackBerries stolen. Now, first of all,
He's
what
got a
is
crack
it-
addiction.
Now, 9 phones. Now, BlackBerries used to be the equivalent of an iPhone 7.
See?
They were not cheap phones.
They're not cheap.
And what is a 16-year-old kid doing with a
Selling
BlackBerry?
them. Selling them.
Selling them?
Yes.
I don't know if I would.
He said they all got stolen, but he sold them. Trust me.
If you heard my belch, I apologize. It was
I have heartburn that is like an anal pit of
I'm just looking for a cue here because I don't have a clue. as
10
to-
minutes, 3 minutes.
I have no idea.
Miami Beach, baby!
I had some points to make here, and then every time I try to get you on point, you like go off on another tangent, and I'm lost.
I'm a suffering older.
You've been on vacation. You've been out of Chicago. You don't have to see people dumping on your street. You don't have to hear the big boom, not the big, what do they call it, sounds driving down the street.
But just think about this barbed wire that's surrounding this brain of all the anger. I learned about Hemingway that his dad says, it's a cowardly to commit suicide. And Hemingway's daddy went and got a .38 and blew his head off. And then the mother said, get that gun away from me. And Hemingway took up a biggest mountain and he threw it into a 10,000-foot glacier.
You like to go to Minnesota. Have you ever been to his house?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's in Minnesota.
Where at?
It's in the Twin Cities.
Are we talking about Prince?
No, we're talking about Hemingway. I'm almost positive he had a home in Minnesota, in the Twin Cities.
I thought he had a home in Miami.
Mary Tyler Moore's, that cover that they did for the Mary Tyler Moore show, that house is in...
So how much stuff are you getting lately? Are you getting or is it like,
I'm keeping busy.
it's
It's like this. It's like, I'm keeping busy. All right, when we return, we're going to talk about taboo topics.
and don't walk your neighbor's dog.
Don't walk your neighbor's dog, because it might not look good.
It's okay.
And ways of getting that trust back, I think. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, because I think what's going on in the country right now is a lack of our own personal accountability and a lack of trust in our media, industrial complex, as well as our governmental industrial complex. We don't have trust. If we don't have trust in those things that are sacred to us, information, right? Are we receiving the right information? I don't have much trust in the news. And I want to talk about that a little bit more when we return in just a moment.
Delighted that they're here with us tonight. Please welcome the Dream Chasers.
Come
Come on
on.
in and join us, and welcome back to the Greg Struss Show.
Welcome.
Scotty Joe Vegas is here, and we're
Yeah.
hopefully back on track.
All right.
Want to talk about trust, all right? When we don't have trust, we don't have, people don't trust us, and I don't trust myself, and I don't trust someone else. What do we have? We have confusion, discombobulation, and fear. I think that there's a lot of fear right now. Fear in who's making the decisions for the direction of our country. The fact is that we have to make choices every day for what direction we're going to take in life. And I think it's really important to talk about this because this is something I've been thinking about. Because this is what I had a conversation, it sounds like a cynical old man. If we can't trust our teachers and we can't trust our coaches, all right, like these, you read stories about the coaches that are sleeping with students that are like 15 years old.
Wow.
All right, and then getting caught.
Wow.
Losing the job, if we can't trust that, and we can't trust our priests, okay, because of what the media has said about
It's
priests.
the devil. It's
right.
the devil.
So, and then we can't trust our politicians, and we can't trust our family members or our friends. How can we trust? How can we trust ourselves?
That's why let God be God and you are yourself.
So I believe that there's some truth in that. I think that
You mean even if I said Joel Osteen in the same sentence? Go ahead.
if it's Joel Osteen or a power that's greater than ourselves, I mean, look, there's got to be, this talk of God all the time, I think really turns people off.
Yes.
Okay, because it sounds like people
I love
are,
Jesus. I can talk about him anytime.
It sounds like people are professing that, well, without God or without this, but I really think that
You're garbage.
yeah, but don't you think that we were better, that our parents wanted us to be better people because they forced us to go to church and say prayer and sit down and have a meal every night for a while?
What about those people that went across
Okay,
the
answer the question before you
Okay,
go
what's
off
the
on a
question? What's the
tangent.
question?
Do you not think that we were better, we became better people because our parents forced us to go to church, forced us to sit down and have a dinner
There is
several
discipline.
nights a
There
week?
is discipline in those statements. Yes, there is
Okay.
discipline.
And is there anything wrong with having discipline today? Self-discipline or any kind of discipline?
Well, apparently not. To the majority of the people, they need discipline.
Like there was an 8-year-old kid or a 10-year-old kid that went on I think Fox News and said that the president sucked or something.
Yep.
Now, if I did that, first of all, I would never do something like that.
25 years ago, if a
You-
station ran that, they'd lose that. They wouldn't get no coverage.
Not only would they not get any, but I'm talking about from a mom or dad standpoint of view, you embarrassed the family and
Yep.
you embarrassed us to the community.
It's because he's white and he's got good-looking women with him. That's why. I mean, I'm a quarter black. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sorry that I may appear to be whitey, but I'm from the hood.
Well, I guess.
I call my own kind.
Yeah. And I don't know, it doesn't mean you have to stay in the hood forever.
No.
Right?
There's no such thing as the hood anymore because it's all the iPhone. It's in an instant. Oh, we said something out of context. You know what? I'm glad Trump said that about Obama because what the hell did Obama do? He was just a guy that ran a little social neighborhood watch thing, and all of a sudden, how quickly we forget as Americans of like, oh, he's not capable of being a president. I'm sorry, Obama didn't write anybody checks, anybody paychecks, and Trump, he's written thousands and thousands and thousands of checks, ran businesses. Hey,
But President
he
Trump-
may be a little sneaky to some people, but
He's a shark.
He did it by the
He's
he did
the
it by the
shark in
books.
chief, okay? The shark in chief knows.